Hey guys, happy Tuesday, happy May 1st. I know May 5th is around the corner, and that is one of Leticia's favorite holidays, right? Margarita. You're all about the margaritas. But I wanted to introduce this special guest tonight. I'm super pumped about this call. Leticia and I met, I believe it was in 2016 in La Cumbre, the first Cumbre Latina. And I mean, we hit it off ever since. And I actually asked for some private one-on-one, and she was so generous with her time. I said, give me 30 minutes. Y me regaló an hour and a half. So ever since then, we've become friends. And I think this is why it's so important, guys, to go to events, because you meet other, coaches that are very inspiring in this business and are willing to help us grow as coaches. So I'm excited about tonight's call because I know many of you guys here follow Leticia on social media and know that she's amazing. Leticia is a 3-time elite coach. She is a lifetime 12-star diamond coach across all business centers. She is a Success Club 10 legend, which means that she helps at least 5 people or more every single month. And she's been coaching for 5 years, is it? 5 years. And she was with her team, the top Latino team in 2016, and they are rocking it in 2018, you guys. They are number 36 across all of Beachbody. I mean, in the entire network. She is a professional lip singer. and I think if you follow her, you know that's true, right? And she is also a diva curl diva. I had to throw that in there because she's rocking those curls amazingly. And Leticia tonight is going to speak about Instagram stories because she's rocking Instagram stories. I love all the animations, but I love just everything that she shares. She adds so much value, and that's what she's able to help so many people on a monthly basis. So Leticia, take it away. Share a little bit. I know that you're going to share a little bit about who Leticia was before Beachbody, and then, just shower us with your knowledge.
Awesome. Okay, can you hear me well? ¿Me escuchas? Okay, thank you so much. Just love you, Gabby. But yeah, it's true. We met. It's so cool. Like, I was at dinner last Friday night with one of my new coaches, or newer coaches, but her fiance was there. And I was just telling him, like, she started to get emotional because she joined me back in my boot camp. She's lost like 30 pounds. And I was telling him, like, it's insane how much this business has, it's provided me with like financial freedom and just all of these accolades and bringing myself home and all of this. I'm like, but the best blessing ever is the people that Beachbody brings into your life. Like, if everything else were to disappear, the money, whatever, like, you would still have those people that completely impacted your life. And now I feel like, how did I ever survive without these people? And like Gabby and Audrey are one of those people too. That is just crazy how you just like meet and you connect and it feels like we've been friends forever. But anyways, thank you so much, Gabby, for that introduction. You're so sweet. And Diva Curl was because of you. So I thank you forever for that. So a little bit about me, and then I'll jump in so I can start to share just, and I know I've been on your guys' call before, so you probably know a little bit of my story, but I've been a coach. I just celebrated my 5-year anniversary when we were in Rivera Maya for a Success Club trip. That was really, really cool that I got to celebrate it there. Prior to Beachbody, I was an elementary school teacher. I taught kindergarten for 2 years, first grade for 1 year, and I thought that teaching and education was going to be what I was going to do for the rest of my life because that's what I went to college for. That's what I just thought I was going to do for the rest of my life, which was great because like teachers are amazing and it was a great career. But now looking back, I realized that I had settled for that life. And not that being a teacher is not amazing, but I had settled for a life because it was what I was comfortable doing. And it was what I thought was the best that I could do. But now that I look back, I remember waking up and wishing it was 3 p.m. already so my little ones could go home. As much as I loved my little ones, like I truly did they're the reason why I prayed and cried and went back and forth of even whether I should leave my teaching job, because I did fall in love with those little ones. Like, they made teaching just incredible. But I was as soon as I woke up, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for 3 p.m. so my little ones can go home and I can come home. I can't wait for Friday for happy hour. I can't wait for winter break. I can't wait for spring break. I can't wait for summer break. Like, I was always waiting on the next thing to make me happy. I was living life on autopilot, just getting through my days, not living my days. But when I was in it, I didn't see that. And because all the other teachers would complain about it, and on Facebook, social media, everybody complains about their job. So I just thought it was normal. But then Beachbody came into my life. I started to follow my upline, who's Danielle Natoni. You guys might know her, Fit and Funky. And I followed her for probably a year. And I always like to say that because for a year I followed her. I would share her workout videos. We would talk about her in a good way with my colleagues. We called her the Fit and Funky girl. Like, did you see that Fit and Funky, what that Fit and Funky girl did? And I say that, and I try to remind all coaches that it took me a year to come around and follow her and stalk her. So if you're newer, or maybe you haven't had a lot of people reach out to you yet, they're watching. It takes sometimes some of us a year, or just always remember how long it took you to join the boot camp or to join the team, because now we have to be patient and remember that whenever we start to get impatient or feel defeated that no one is joining us, just always remember, hey, it took you a while. Anyways, I finally decided to reach out to Danielle. She made a post one day and said that she was looking for coaches on her team. And I was in my second year as a teacher, so I felt a little bit more comfortable. Summer school was coming. I didn't want to teach summer school, but my husband and I were knees deep in debt. Like, I posted not too long ago that we just recently got out of over $100,000 in student loan debt, credit card debt, and now we are completely debt free other than a mortgage, which is insane to me, and it's all because of Beachbody. But I just needed something to help me kind of make ends meet. And even though I didn't really think I was going to make real money with Beachbody, I just thought it'd be a fun hobby I could do in the summer, so I don't have to go teach summer school. I do love fitness. I do love working out. I need accountability, because as my first year as a teacher, the first thing that went on the back burner was, of course, me working out. So I just said, like, really not knowing much about it, I just jumped into it, took it as a hobby. And then with time, of course, the more I learned about it, the more I dove in, I just fell in love more with it. My passion grew, and I started to take it more serious. 16 months at doing Beachbody, I was able to more or less supplement my teacher income. So that's when I made that really scary, really scary and hard decision to leave my teacher job, which was really scary, you guys. We had just bought this brand new home. So I thought, man, like, I'm leaving a stable career for something that could or could not work. But thank God that I did, because it forever changed our lives. And also, whenever I did make that decision, like, I'm going to leave my teacher career, I knew I could always go back, but I didn't want to go back. I'm like, I don't want to be that person who shows back up like, oh, can you guys take me back? So I had decided, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this work. There was no if it works, if it wasn't. No, in my mind, I'm like, we're going to make this work. And that's exactly what I did. And here I am 5 years later. It's crazy that half a decade has gone by. It seems insane. Okay, so now that's just a little bit about me and my story. And I want to actually share my screen. I have a PowerPoint that I want to share with you guys. It helps me stay on track. And I'm a visual learner. So, let's see. If you don't see that, if you can't see that, Gabby, let me know. Okay, so like Abby said, I'm going to talk about Instagram stories, and it might not be something new, because I know there's been so many trainings already about Instagram stories, but this is what is working with me. Like, Gabby reached out to me not too long ago. She's like, dude, what are you doing? You're killing it. And for me this year, especially a little bit of last year, but especially this year, Instagram stories, I will say about like 80% of the people who commit to my challenge groups, who join my team, they're coming from Instagram stories, and I am loving it. I'm pushing it on my coaches, on my teams. They're having success with it, and even some of my newer coaches are having success with it. And I always say that because I know sometimes people who've been in the business for a longer time or have bigger social medias, and you think, well, it works for you because you have X amount of followers. Like, no, like, my newer coaches are implementing what is working for me and whatever I'm teaching them, and it's working for them too. So I'm just freaking loving Instagram stories right now. So if you aren't already using them, you're going to start today. And then you're going to go do more research, and you're just going to learn. It's just one of those things that the more you use, the more you learn. And I'm going to show you how I use it. I think everybody uses it different, but how it's working for me. And I don't feel like I'm a social media queen or anything. Like, social media can be hard. It's always changing, but I always just share what is working for me. And that's necessarily, I always like to say, it's not the right way or the only way, but just the way that I'm using it. So one of the ways is by giving people FOMO, fear of missing out. What I love to do with my Instagram stories, and that's because, so with Instagram stories, it's what is it called? It's a sneak peek. You're actually people, it's a behind the scenes of your real life. So you can share whatever you want on there. Of course, I'll show you more of how to add value back to that. But because on your actual news feed, right? Like on your Instagram news feed, your Facebook news feed, we always say, make sure you have it cleaned up. 3 posts a day. You don't want to be all about Beachbody, but your Instagram stories, it's your life. It's like behind the scenes of your life. And so Beachbody is a huge part of your life, especially for me, because it's my full-time job. So anyways, I like to use it to brag on my challengers and just kind of to just sprinkle, to give people a sneak peek of what happens behind the scenes in my boot camps. I call them my boot camps, challenge groups. And the reason for this is because people don't understand. I think we feel like everybody, what a challenge group is, like, come on, it's a virtual group, like we hold each other accountable, but truly they don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. And so I love to give them behind the scenes of what I do. So, and I take every little small win in my challenge group and I make it a huge deal on my social media, in my stories. So if you're not running your own challenge groups yet, then you can do it with whatever the other challengers are posting or what your coach is posting. So when I do a challenger of the week, I choose a challenger of the week just based on who got like 5 out of 7 shakes, or I'll do little different things like that. And then I'll shout them out on my stories. And why? So that people can see, oh, like, they do little fun challenges, or she sends out little fun gifts. Like, to us, it might seem silly, but you never know, that little silly thing will be what pushes people or it makes people finally like just say, okay, I'm going to commit, right? Like they've been thinking about it. You've had that conversation. They're watching you. And sometimes it could just be that they see something behind the scenes and it finally makes them reach out. And I say that because I've had people reach out from these posts, even though in these posts, I'm not saying, hey, join my challenge group. I'm just saying, my challengers are killing it. Look what's happening. This person is doing this, person is doing that. And that just is what sometimes, again, pushes them to reach out and want to say like, okay, I'm in. So this here, I try to share, of course, like the scale victories and the before and afters, but even like the non-scale victories. And sometimes those are even more impressive than when you share the before and afters or the scale victories. And what I do on Sundays is I ask my challengers, we have check-in Sunday, and I say, okay, I want you to share one win this week. And if you choose to share a scale victory, I also want you to find something else that's not scale victory, because I like to have my challengers also focus on those non-scale victories. You guys know how important that is. And sometimes they'll share things like their mindset, or just those things that we always preach, like focus on your strength, focus on if you're doing better with your push-ups, all of those things, and they will start to focus on that and make those part of their wins. And so I make a huge deal about that. Of course, here's a before and after. And this one, I got a picture from one of my coaches. She's actually a newer coach on my team. I think she's barely, no, she's not. She's probably like 9 months into it. But I do the same thing. Here's where she said she's about to go send her new challengers a little welcome prize. And she got that for me because I do that as well. All my new challengers and coaches, I send them a little thank you note where I just welcome them, and then I send them a little sample of Energize so they can try it, fall in love with the crack, order it themselves. Then I make a huge deal about that on my social media. When I do, I'm like, I just sent out all the, like, if you joined my boot camp last month, be on the lookout for your little small welcome prize, right? They don't know what it is. And again, the people who are watching me, people who are on the fence, people who are like, should I do this? Should I not? And if they see like, oh, she sends her new challengers like little welcome prize, and it can be anything. It could literally just be a handwritten thank you note. Like, it doesn't have to be something that you purchase, right? But if you do get the Energized packets, like that's volume that you can get. And I like to do that because, again, I just want them to try it as well. But And then here is me sharing. Oh, so this is me sharing my challengers meal prepping. On Sunday, they share that they're meal prepping, and then I make a big deal out of this. And for one, so they can see that like we do meal prepping, and two, because most people who struggle with weight and with wanting to hit their goals, it's because of lack of nutrition. So if they see that in your groups, like you really focus on nutrition, the people in there are meal prepping, it's not just always you, because we can share, oh, I'm meal prepping, I'm getting results, I'm doing this. But when they actually see that your challengers or the challengers in the boot camp that you're a part of are also doing it, I think it just kind of gives your groups more credibility and gives you more credibility as a coach, which again, sometimes helps just convince them to join you. Another thing that's working really well for me and my new coaches, or not new coaches, all coaches, my coaches on our team, is these lists. So if you follow me, you probably see that I do these lists. And I don't know what it is about a list. People want their freaking name on the list. So I haven't started the May one yet, but I'm going to start the May one soon. And I'll say, like, I'm starting my May list. And I'll name it whatever I'm going to name my boot camp that month. And then I'll number it. I usually number 1 through 20. But you can literally number it 1 through 3, 1 through 5. Like, start off small. And then make a huge deal about it and say, like, as you go through the month and people start to sign up, or you send out a link, what I do is when I send out the link, when people tell me, yes, sign me up, I ask them, shake flavor, do you want to do as a coach? Or actually, I don't ask them, I tell them, I'm going to sign you up as a discount coach because you're going to get your shakes for a discounted price. As soon as I send that link, I put their name on the list, even though they haven't technically completed the link yet. And that has also worked because whenever I do update the list on my stories, that person, this happened many times where the person who hasn't completed the link yet will see the name on the list and they'll message me like, oh my God, I totally forgot you sent me the link. Let me go complete it now. So it's also like a little reminder to those who, because you know that happens a lot of time, right? We send the link and then we never hear from them again and we're just waiting on them to complete it. Well, this way they see their name and I think it pushes them again like, oh shoot, like my name is on that list. Like I already told her I was going to commit, like I better go do it. Or they just honestly forget. Seeing their name reminds them on there. And an example of that, really good example, this happened in, I think March, but I had my 80-day obsession list. And also this makes other people curious, not just the people who are on the list, but other people are curious, like, oh, what is this list? Like, I want to be on that list. And this girl reached out to me. She said, hello, hope you're doing well. Enjoy the holidays. So this was right after the holidays, I guess maybe in January, February. But she said, como siempre, por aquí checking your videos and your posts. And she says, what is this group about? Wanted to see if I could make it this time. And I scrolled up, you guys, and I had talked to this girl back and forth like since July. You know, you have those people who every time you talk about the group, they'll reach out like, oh, what's about a group? Like, girl, I've sent you the information like 20 times. Again, you never know what could be that thing that pushes them to just finally freaking sign up for it. But for her, it was this list. She just wanted to be on the list, and she actually signed up as a coach, and now she's a coach on my team. Of course, that's, you know, doesn't happen all the time that way, but I have noticed that ever since I started doing the list, and I saw this from another coach as well, Successfully Clues, so I'm like, I'm going to try that. And I do feel like this does make them feel, the people who are on the list, just a little bit more special, and the people who are not on the list, they kind of want to get, you know, they get FOMO, fear of missing out. Who doesn't want their name on the list? Or it makes those people who, again, have been on the fence, haven't heard back from them, or they keep saying no. It's just one of those things that I've seen a difference, so I try to do this all the time. Okay. And something else that I do in my stories is I invite every single day. And I learned this from what's her name? I forget right now. I forgot her name, but another coach, Christine Haley. I forget her first name for some reason, but I learned that.
Haley Kristen, right?
There you go, Haley Christian. Yeah, I just had her name. Christian. I learned this from her whenever she did a training in leadership back when we were at the 5-star leadership in November. And back in November, I still wasn't on board with Instagram stories. So I'm actually pretty new to Instagram stories. I didn't come to Instagram stories until other coaches started raving about it and saying how much success they were having. Like, I did not want to break up with Snapchat. I had a fully committed relationship with Snapchat, and I vowed never to go to IG stories, but saw these coaches having success, and I'm like, dang, I'm going to try it. So as soon as I started trying, I did see the benefits. So if you are on the fence about it too, or you don't want to break up with Snapchat, trust me, it's worth it. But anyways, I learned this and everything that I've learned to do from Instagram stories and what I'll continue to learn it from other coaches. As soon as they teach something or it's working for them, I go and try it, because if it's working for others, odds are it will probably work for us too. But anyways, inviting in your stories every single day. And again, this is why I love stories, because you can't really do that on your feed. Like, no one wants to see those invites every single day, or unless you're really creative about it. But in your stories, you can freaking do whatever you want in your stories. And if you add enough variety in your stories, you can. Of course, you don't want it to all be about Beachbody either, all be about invites, all be about your challenge groups. But with your stories, you can have so many during the day that it has a really good variety. And one thing that my coaches say, but what if people get annoyed by it? They won't get annoyed by it. Not everyone sees your stories every single day. And if you do it in a different way, not the same every single time, and even if they are seeing, if that one person is seeing your daily invites, it's okay. What they say that in order for someone to finally commit, they have to see or hear the same thing like 7 times or something. So they just need to keep hearing it, keep seeing it until they say yes. But here's just a few examples of the way that I do it. Every single day I have some call to action, some kind of invite to something, either my challenge group, or if I'm going to run a sneak peek, or to join my team, something. So this one was just one that I did where I had put on these white jeans a few weeks ago and they fit really good, versus back in the summer they were too snug. So I'm like, oh great, like I'm going to talk about this in my stories, right? Like, who doesn't want to feel amazing in their jeans? So I just stood in front of a mirror and I was talking about how amazing I felt in the jeans and how they felt, or how they fit really good. And then I had a boot camp coming up, so when I said, and by the way, you have jeans that are sitting there collecting dust, too snug, whatever. Remember, I have a boot camp coming in, swipe up. And I would say swipe up, but I don't have anything fancy, you guys. Like, I don't have a form for them to go fill out. It doesn't take them anywhere. I just tell them to swipe up, and I either say like drop an emoji or swipe up and let me know you're interested. Like, you don't have to have forms. And if you don't have the swipe up option, you can just say message me, right? You don't have to have all that fancy stuff to be able to just give people a call to action. Another way that I love to invite every single day is in my videos, because I do like 3-4 clips of my workout every single day. So people can first see that I'm consistent, second, see that I'm following a workout program from start to finish, and then third, so they can just kind of get a little behind the scenes of the moves. And sometimes I'll say things like, these are 3 of the moves from today's workout, or whatever, or I can't wait for the girls who are starting in 2 weeks to try these moves, or I'll just say like, do this move today. It came from my 80-day obsession, and so I'll say like the bands and the sliders come with it, but then again I'll give a call to action like swipe up and I'll give you information. And I always do the why not you, and it's funny because people will message me who join me and they're like, man, you always say why not you, so I'm reaching out to you because why not me? I'm like, it works. People just need to see it over and over and over and over again. You know how that is. And then this one, it was just a picture of me, and again I said I'll message you. I'm just a message away. If you want to join my boot camp, have a little cute little sign pointing down. But call to actions. Every day I'm inviting to something. Okay, now to give the value back. Because again, yeah, you want to use it to give people behind the scenes of what happens in your challenge groups, in your life. Of course, I think I do a lot of that too. Like, I'll just do nonsense things, lip singing, because stories is also amazing to show who you are, like your personality and your life and about your kids or about whatever it is that you want to show, so that people can relate and connect. And you hear that all the time, right? People need to connect to you so that they can fall in love with you and feel like they're social media besties with you. Nothing related to fitness, not always related to coaching, not always, and it probably won't be. People will connect with you. Like I have an example. You guys know Jersey Shore, I know, is trash TV, right? But I'm addicted to it because I was in college when it first came out. Anyways, it's back on. If you have no idea what Jersey Shore is, don't even try to watch it. It's just trash TV. But I was so excited about it, and I made a poll on my stories, and like all these people were messaging me and like, oh my God, yeah, I love Jersey Shore too. And yeah, it's trash TV. And we're like, you can't believe like Sammy's not going to be on the show. And again, that has nothing to do with your challenge group. It has nothing to do with coaching. It has nothing to do with them purchasing anything, but it has everything to do with someone finding something to connect with you, right? I wouldn't be surprised. Odds are those people who love Jersey Shore, they're going to keep following me, and they'll see an invite to my boot camp. And people who love Jersey Shore also want to work on the best versions of themselves. So that's why it's so, like, I love IG stories, and I love to follow other people because you truly get to see like behind the scenes and who they are and their little personalities and their little quirks. And so the more you that you can be, share that. Okay, so adding value. It's also so important because I feel like it's important to be just a source of resource that people can come to you. Like they feel like make people excited, or make people want to go see your stories because they know you'll provide some value of some type of way. So for me, of course, it's my hair, right? Like that's the common question I get every single day. I had to make a highlight, and I've made videos because I get asked all the time, what do you use for your hair? What do you use for your hair? But that's cool because it's a way for me to just offer value. And not everybody has curly hair, and that might not be your thing, but we all have a thing that we can provide value with. Mine just happens to be my hair. And then even today, I made a video about like this necklace that I have, like how it got all super tangled up. So I'm always just trying to find a way to how can I offer value? How can I offer a tip today? Not necessarily always about the hair, because I know not everybody has curly hair, not everyone's going to relate to that. Another example is my coach. She's a newer coach too, Lily. She loves makeup and is a makeup freak and fanatic, and she's amazing at it. So she offers makeup tips all the time. And she started doing it because I told her, dude, you love makeup. Like, people love to have tips like that. So that's working for her. And then for me, something else too that I'm super passionate about is personal development, because personal development changed my life. And I wholeheartedly believe in it. I'm super passionate about it. But like, I push it hard in my challenge groups. I push it hard in my teams because it makes us a better us, right? You guys know that. So I share just little things like making your bed every day and how that's important. Or if I come across a video or my daily message with Darren Hardy, and if it's really good, I'll share the link and say swipe up. And so many people will message me and say like, thanks so much for sharing that message, or thanks so much for sharing that podcast or that book. Like it impacted me, it helped me. People will send me pictures of their beds made, and they'll say like, oh man, thank God, like because of you, you helped me make my bed, and I see why, the importance of it or whatever. And again, these people aren't all in my challenge groups yet, or they might not even be, but they connect with me. They connect with me in a way like I'm able to provide value, and they become your lifers, right? These are people that always are there for you, always liking your things, commenting on your things, and they are probably just waiting on their right time to then join you. But offering value in some kind of way is huge for your stories as well too, because you don't always just want to ask, join this, join that, buy this. You also want to give back. Anytime I like buy really cute leggings, people want to know where the leggings are from. That's offering value. You go somewhere and you find a really good sale, share it on your stories. That's offering value, because if people can trust you with one thing, like if they go and buy whatever it is that you're raving about, or they get those leggings on sale, they trust you a little bit more. And if they can trust you with that, then they'll get to the point where they can trust you and join one of your boot camps. Okay, and these are little tips that you guys might know, but just in case you don't know, super important to add location to your stories so that your stories can get pushed out in those locations. And these are just like extra eyeballs. These aren't people who are necessarily following you, so just make sure that you have your things set to public and not private. But for example, this one, I was going to go to a trip to Midland to be a guest speaker at one of my coaches' Super Saturday. Sorry. I need to drink some water. And so I tagged it Midland. That's where she's from. And I know it's hard to see, but it got 311 views. So the people who follow this Midland story, which I don't know, it's West Texas, there's not much out there, but apparently there's a lot of people watching that story. My little video popped up in that Midland stories. And so again, these were people who might or might not have already been following me. And then my little story pops up. They have an option where they can click on your name, because I do all the time. I go and follow those little other stories, like for Grand Prairie where I live, or whatever's popping up on my thing. And they can come follow you. So adding a location just pushes your story out to more people. Another little trick that I learned from one of my coaches is to tag the location of a university. I don't know why, but I try it. I tag the one that I went to, and then just the ones that are here local in Dallas. And what it'll do, it will push it out in the story of the university, but also the city of where the university is at. So for example, this one, I tagged UTA, where I went to, University of Texas at Arlington, and it popped up in that story, but then it also popped up in the Arlington story, and Arlington is the city where UTA is at. When I tag UNT, which is a university in Dallas, it pops up in the UNT story and the Dallas story. So it's just one of those little tricks and hacks that just helps your story get pushed out more. And of course, adding locations of where you actually are at. And you guys, it doesn't have to be always like, I live here in Grand Prairie, right outside of Dallas. I don't always tag Grand Prairie. I tag all kinds of cities all around Dallas. And sometimes I'll do LA, or I'll do like Puerto Rico, or I'll do whatever. It doesn't have to be where you are at, just for it to get pushed into different places. Let your stories get pushed out in different places. And then of course, the place where you actually are at, like if you are a Starbucks or Toasted, this whatever, a club, or whatever, wherever you are at, you also want to tag those places too sometimes. And a cool little story with that, I have a challenger who signed up in January for 8-Day Obsession, and one day she messaged me and she's like, we should go to this. And it was like some cycling class here nearby, and I'm like, girl, I didn't even know you lived near here. She's like, yeah, I live in Cedar Hill. She said, that's how I found you. You tagged, you were there at White Rhino once. White Rhino is a coffee shop in Cedar Hill, which is like 15 minutes from where I live, and I go there often. So apparently I tagged White Rhino. She lives in Cedar Hill. She follows a White Rhino story, and that's how she found me. Isn't that crazy? And then she joined my challenge group, but I had no idea. So after she told me that, I'm like, man, tagging these locations do work. But that was actually kind of really cool. That's how she found me, was me tagging that White Rhino coffee shop.
Wait, I have a question before you move on about the locations. So you said locations where you're going to, right? You said universities, you said places you're actually at, and what else you said? You said something else. I missed that part.
I did.
Did you? Or did I get everything?
No, you got everything.
Okay, good. Go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. And then also, so yeah, locations where you're at. And then also, if there's like a big event, like I just went to the Maluma concert. So if you're at a concert or just like a big fair or something, just a big event that's happening where you're at, make sure you're tagging it, because it'll be popular that day or that week or whenever, because it's a big event, right? Like a concert or whatever. That always, I feel like, gets pushed out into that too. And then people are watching it as they're in that place or whatever. But that's another little trick. And then of course the hashtag, which is this little sign right here. They just changed it not too long ago, the way it looked. No, they did it. It's the mention one. But adding the hashtag will just get push your stories out into that hashtag. So some of the ones that I use are like non-scale victory, weight loss journey. And what I do is I do curly hair girls. And sometimes the hashtag that I use doesn't necessarily have to do with my story, but if I know it's like a popular hashtag, I'll use it. And what you do is, so that if you want your stories to have a huge hashtag on it or a huge location on it, what you do is you grab it with your fingers and you just kind of squeeze it, and you make it so tiny that it's not even, people can't even see it on there. And I'll hide it like in my hair or just somewhere in the story, because I don't like to have big hashtag right on my story. Okay, and the last thing, if you're not already using, which you probably are, or if you don't use it often. Use it often. This just poll. You guys all know about this poll feature, but what I love about it is just because it's just a really cool way for you to just start conversations or keep conversations going. I did one yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I did one yesterday I asked about my hair. Should I keep my highlights or change my hair color? And of course, a lot of people voted, but what you do that, or you should do, take a step further and then reach out to those people who voted. And if it's something, so whenever you do use that poll option, it should be something that matters to you, that you care about, so that you can reach out to those people and just kind of start a genuine conversation or ask them questions. Just get those conversations going, build those relationships. And again, if you find someone finds something in common with you, that could be the thing that just kind of gets them to start trusting you a little bit more. My coach, Jennifer, she does this all the time too. She's having a lot of success with IG stories, and she's newer. Like I said, she's only been a coach for like 9 months or whatever. She does this all the time, and then she'll reach out to them and find some way to just ask more questions or keep talking about what it is that is. And she doesn't mention anything about Beachbody. She doesn't mention anything about her challenge groups unless they ask. But it's just because sometimes we're always saying, right, start conversations, send messages, and you're like, but how? Or find a genuine way. This is a really good, genuine way to do it. So make sure it's a question that's kind of, you care about, that you can maybe ask more questions about. I do it all the time too. I just don't always take that extra step into then messaging the people depending on what it is that they voted. But I do tell my newer coaches to do that. And then this also gets people to reach out to me because they'll vote and they'll have some kind of opinion. And then that's another good way to have that conversation going. So make sure you're using that poll feature. And the last thing that I'll say, you guys, is to go out there and research. So everything that I've learned with IG stories, like I said, I learned it for other coaches, but it's not just learning, because you can be sitting here on this call and hopefully I said something new that maybe you hadn't heard before, but then she'll sure take notes. And this is for all trainings, not just this one, but take notes, but then go out there and implement, put it to action, because it benefited no one. This time was completely wasted if you never take what you learn and actually implement it, put it into action. And it might not work the first time, it might not work the first couple of times, but if it's working for a lot of people, it will work for you. Just patience, consistency, practice, doing it over and over and over again. And then I always stress about this on my IG stories, is go out there and GTS, Google that shit, do your research. I literally learned some of these tricks, and I went into Google and I typed Instagram stories, tricks and hacks. Or when I was trying to learn more about Instagram stories, or if I see someone do something really cool on their IG stories, I'm like, man, I wonder how they did that. I'll go and Google it. It's worth it. This is part of our business. Social media is our job. It's going to make your business grow. So it's worth the time, and it's worth going out there, doing your research, getting lost in those YouTube videos. There's so much out there that you can learn if you don't already know, from stories, from Facebook, just from everything, so that you can then use it for your business and just grow and get better at it. And then teach it to your coaches so that they can duplicate and do the same thing. But that's all that I have, Gabby. I don't know if you guys have any questions about this or anything. Let's see. Stop share.
Okay, I was trying to unmute myself. That was good. Thank you. I'm going to do the gallery view so that if someone has questions, I have a question while people come up with their own questions. So Leticia, because I also follow you, right? And I see your stories, they're always so colorful and vibrant and very animated. So do you use other apps for, to make them pretty and then put them onto IG stories, or just simple IG story, features?
Usually just IG story features. Sometimes I'll do a video in Snapchat. If they have a really cool filter, I'll save it to my camera roll and then upload it to stories. But usually it's just there in stories.
Okay.
Yeah. I just love to use the GIFs and the emojis and all of this just to make them, because I love color. I try to do my stories, I like to see other people's stories, right? I love color, I love emojis, I love it to look really fun, and so that's what I looking forward to other stories. So that's how I try to make mine.
Right. Any question, guys?
Not a question. I just want you to keep on singing more Temerados karaoke.
Got you, girl.
I always DM her when she does something. There's not a lot of Mexican coaches, so.
Right? Yeah. And that's another thing, like, be you, right? Like, I'm sure not all my followers speak Spanish or are Mexican or Latino or whatever, but I am. And so I'll sometimes just bust out with Spanish stories or Mexican music or whatever. And it's just being, it's silly, but it's just being who you are.
Right.
You know?
Yes. So Naida had asked about the swipe up feature. That's, you have to have at least 10,000 followers in order to have that feature. Great question.
Yes, but you can still just tell them to message you, drop an emoji. Like that's what my coach does, Jennifer. She doesn't have the swipe up feature yet. So she'll just say, drop an emoji or drop whatever, and I'll message you back. She, you know, you don't have to have all that fancy things to still have call to actions. Because I know there's coaches who attach forms or they'll attach this. I don't do any of that either. I probably should, but I don't have that.
And she's killing it, guys. And all she says is, you know, swipe up, and they swipe up and they message her, right? So don't be intimidated by the fact that you don't have to have 10,000 followers to help a ton of people. Any other questions for Leticia? I took mine.
I have a question. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Leticia, I have a question about, I have seen you share about your struggle with anxiety, which I also struggle with. And so I'm wondering what your tips are to like share that, but share it with like a positive spin.
Yeah, and that actually took me, that's another good point. Always, and you hear that all the time, right? You want to share everything. And that was, for me, was really hard to share because I took it as me being weak, and I'm supposed to be this strong person and this motivating person, inspiring person. And so I never really talked about my anxiety because I'm like, that makes me weak and no one wants to follow a weak person. But when I did start to share about it, it was like the outpouring of the support and the love, and then all these other people who have anxiety, which is a lot of people. And so that was really cool for me to do. And I just kind of started to sprinkle it here and there, right? It's not like something you just come out and say, but it was just, I think the first time I shared about it was right after I had a panic attack or an anxiety attack. And I just shared how awful it was and how helpless I felt. And I ended up in the ER, and just how I struggled with this for a really long time, but I'm learning. And I think that's always the thing. Whatever it is that you struggle with, it's like finding a way, okay, how are you trying to deal with it? Or how are you trying to better yourself at it? And that's what I did. And then I was even able to provide value because after I shared that, I also said, I read this book with the 5-second rule. If you guys have not read it, with Mel Robbins, actually don't read it, listen to it on audio. It's her reading it, but she talked about anxiety on there in a way that I had never heard it be explained, which just changed everything for me. Not that I don't battle with it anymore, because I always will, but it's helped me tremendously. So I shared how I had a panic attack or anxiety attack, and I've always dealt with that. And then I said, but I came across this book and it's helped me so much. And even though I still have my really bad, dark days, just implementing the things that I've learned. And I shared on there how, like, for me, getting in the sunshine, going to take a walk, meditating, has helped me a lot. And a lot of people, again, just poured out their love and the support. And then they even started coming to me for tips and help and what's helped me, even though I don't have it together. And I feel like I'm no one to give advice, but the little things that have helped me, if it helps them, like it helps give value. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's not easy to share, but once you do, you even feel more relieved. And then people will, I know, relate and connect with you that way as well.
That's awesome. Any other questions? Guys, if you aren't following Leticia, you should, because she's awesome at social media. She's awesome, period. But she's really great at just showcasing you know, what she does as a coach, but also showcasing who she is as a person and, you know, the things that she's into, the things that she isn't. She like cracks me up every time I'm like following her story. She doesn't give any F's. Like she will share, like it's true, you being you, like she will share what's on her mind, what's on, you know, what's going on that day. And she's very real. And I think that's why people connect with you, because you are honest, you know, people trust you, and you know, you're funny, but then when you're serious, you're serious. Like I've seen you go in on people, like, you know, you give a little bit of everything. Like, you know, you're gentle, but then sometimes you're like hardcore. So I think that it's that in between, you give people a little bit of everything. So if you're not following her, follow her stories, because you get a little bit of how you should be showcasing, you know, your lives. Because yes, Beachbody is not all of your of who you are, but it is part of your life. And also like how she posts on Instagram as well is very helpful to see. So thank you so much. I don't know if anyone else has a question for her before we close out the call. Emma?
What are you gonna do when Mes de Mas comes out and your mama wants to?
Oh yes, I didn't announce that. She is one of the cast members for Mes de Mas. Congratulations for that. Yes. Go ahead, Emma. Sorry, I interrupted.
When her mom wants to see her in the videos coming from Mexican mothers. Her mom doesn't know about her tattoos.
I know. I think you were the one that messaged me and asked me that, right? Or someone messaged me and asked me that, and I told Ara, my husband, I never even thought of that, but I guess she's gonna find out.
Like,
she knows I have one in here, one or two here and there, but she's never seen the whole picture together. But yeah, you guys, I'm super excited about Mes de Mas, and actually Carlos asked me in Cancun or Mexico to do a presentation at La Cumbre, and he wants me to talk about how to leverage new programs. So hopefully you all are there. Not only just Mes de Mas, but just any program, how to take it and the launch with it and run with it. So I'm excited to share about that too. Oh, my IG name is Living Fit with Leticia. I'll type it in. Fit with Leticia.
I'm like seriously so proud of you for being on that program. Like I followed I think we all followed, many of us followed you when you were out there, and like when you cried, we cried. When you were, you know, excited, we were excited for you. Just being able to live it through you, because it's paving the way for all of us, you know, to dream big, because that's something that when you start as a coach, you know, you just want to pay for your Shakeology to like being in a video. Like think about that, right? And it's because you've always just taken the leap and gone for it. So I read one of your posts that I don't know if it was from today or maybe a day or two ago about being fearless. That was a really great post. And it's true. People think that you have to not have any fear to be successful. And it's really just facing your fear that, you know, makes someone successful. So we definitely appreciate you just sharing so openly. Anyone else? Going once? Going twice? It's not every day we have Leticia Dominguez on our call. All right, they're shy today. Thank you, Leticia, once again. Say hello to Aram. Jorge and I, we trying to come to have his food. His food looks amazing all the time. But thank you so much for sharing your knowledge today. Thank you for sharing so openly and really just sharing like what you do, you know, the things that you would share with your coach. So I appreciate that. And thank you everybody for jumping on. And like Leticia said, you know, just don't sit here and take notes, but go out and implement these things that she shared tonight, because these things are the very same things that are, you know, booming her business. So let's put them into action and let's go help more people with To Be Mindset, and then with Mes de Mas, and then also with Live For. All right. So have a good night. Any last thoughts or?
No, I'm good. I was just going to say that. So we have so much coming out, especially I push Mes de Mas because I'm a part of it, but I also work with the Latino market and have Spanish challengers. But you guys, that's going to be huge for us. If you have Spanish speakers, which we all do, or you yourself are, like, that's going to be, I think it's going to be just like crazy huge for us and our businesses. So when it's out, you use it, you run with it, you fall in love with it, and then just give people freaking FOMO. And if you're not running Spanish groups or even working the Spanish market, hopefully this pushes you to start doing it, because it's going to open up just a whole new market for us.
You know what? I actually have one more question, even though I had closed this call. I'm gonna open it up again. One question. I know that, just for our newer coaches, in terms of how do you coach on social media? Do you post in Spanish only? Do you post in English? I mean, I know how you post, but just for our newer coaches, how do you handle both languages?
Yeah, so my Instagram, it's almost all just English. My posts, my stories, my Facebook, even though I've been slacking big time, I need to get back to it. My Facebook was almost all 80% Spanish. My live videos are in Spanish. Recipes in Spanish, it's like 80%. That way I'm able to have both social medias and still be able to attract both languages, I guess. But I've been slacking on my Facebook. I've just been, I guess, busy or too lazy, and I'm just copying and pasting what I'm putting on Instagram. But yeah, so I just started to sprinkle a little bit of both, and it worked really, really well for me.
And it's your personal Facebook or like page?
My like page.
Like page, okay.
My like page, yeah. I go live on my like page in Spanish.
Awesome. All right, there you have it, guys. Thank you once again for jumping on tonight and sharing. Good luck with, I don't even think you need the luck, but many blessings to your business, because I know that you're already doing amazing, but it's always good to send good vibes, to other coaches. So thank you again. Guys, honestly, I feel blessed with this community, like Leti said earlier today, because I feel like, people are so willing to share. So, don't be afraid to reach out to someone and ask a question, because coaches are really willing to share, because we grow as a community, and at the end of the day, the mission here is to end the trend of obesity, and we can't do it, by one person. We can't do it alone. We have to do it as a team. So once again, thanks for jumping on tonight. Thank you, Leticia, once again. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.